99% of chess players can't find the checkmate here. Can you? This is the position, and it's white to move, checkmate in 4 moves. And so when you're doing this, obviously the first thing you want to look for is checks. So you see you have this check, you have this check, you can check here, and obviously this is the best check because none of Black's pieces can take. You might also think you could go there, but after you go here, then Black just goes over there and you don't win. So let's say you go here, and then Black's of course gonna go king e8. Now the next move here is really tricky, because of course you have some checks. You can go here, you can go here, you can go here, you can go here, but all of those lose your queen. So obviously you're not going to do any of those. You could bring in a knight, but either way you do it, your knight is going to get taken, so that's not a good move. So you're kind of stuck here, right? You don't have anything you can do. If you want to try to figure it out by yourself, pause the video now before I reveal the answer. So the answer is to sack the queen on e7. Black has to take, and then from here it's mate in 2. Can you find the mate in 2? You're going to bring down the rook and give a check. Black's going to go back, and then you're going to go knight to f6, checkmate, and fork. Now if you thought that was tricky, just wait until you see this next puzzle. This is the next puzzle, and this is a classic one. So you're white here, and it's a mate in 2. Now the most obvious move here is just take this pawn and checkmate, right? But it doesn't work because Black can just take back with the bishop, and then that's not good. So and if you take, then it's pretty much a draw. I mean, Black could take, and then what do you do, right? So you can't really do much with the pawn, so you have to move the rook. But where are you going to move the rook? You can't take because obviously that doesn't work. So if you wanna think about the answer, pause the video now. So the answer is you're actually going to go rook a6, because when Black takes the rook, you go in for the checkmate, and that's game over. And if Black were to decide to move the bishop, well, then you can go there, and it's still checkmate. So that's that puzzle. That one's a tricky one. Now let's go on to puzzle 3. This is the next puzzle, and this one's a really tricky one. I couldn't even figure it out myself. So this is a checkmate in 2 moves, and you're white. So I'm gonna give you some time now to figure it out by yourself if you want to pause the video. Okay, so you look at this and you see, well, Black's king can't go anywhere. So, right, like how do you give Black's king a check? And you think maybe I thought maybe I could move my king and that'd be mate, but the knight protects it. So maybe I can take the knight and then checkmate. Oh, but then Black can take, so that doesn't work. Maybe you think you can give a check with the rook, but that doesn't help you. Maybe you think you can move the queen somewhere, but where are you going to move the queen? What are you going to do? I mean, you could try to, there's not much you can do here. So this one is super tricky. And now I'm going to reveal the answer. So the answer is you sacrifice your queen on a3, Black takes, and then you can't go king d2 to checkmate because Black could block. So instead you do long castle, checkmate. And most people don't see that, so that one's really tricky. Congratulations if you solve that puzzle, but this next one is so hard only a grandmaster could solve it. This puzzle was so hard, in fact, that it was given to Magnus Carlsen. Watch this.
What to play? Made in 2, this is a puzzle for our viewers. Let's see how quickly you can get it. I'm gonna start the timer now, okay? Not so easy, huh?
Alright,
A minute down.
Yeah, usually.
Time pressure.
Yeah, so as you can see, it's a pretty tricky puzzle. It took Magnus a little while to solve it. So this is the puzzle right here. So it's another white mate in two puzzle. So if you're trying to solve this, you might think, okay, so we got the king here. So and then we got these bishops. So how do you checkmate? You might think maybe you can just move the rook to checkmate, but that doesn't work because black can block, and then if you take, black can move, and it's not checkmate anymore. Although it is there, that's checkmate, but that was 3 moves, and it's mate in 2, so that doesn't count. If you haven't gotten it already, the hint is you're gonna move your queen. Yeah, so the first move is you're gonna move your queen. So where are you gonna move your queen? Maybe you take the rook. Maybe you give a check here. This is almost checkmate, except black can block 2 different ways. So the answer is we're going to move your queen to a8. And this might look a little counterintuitive, right? Like, why would you move your queen to a8? It's not doing anything there. Black can't move their king anywhere, and they can't move their pawns, so they have to move either the rook or the queen. And after they do that, you play knight c5, checkmate. Black can't take because the piece that they didn't move is now pinned by the queen on a8, and that's why we moved the queen to a8 in the first place. So that was puzzle 4, but if you thought that was crazy, just wait for puzzle 5. This is the 5th and final puzzle. First of all, yeah, thanks for making it this far in the video. Most people don't make it this far, and this is the 5th puzzle. So it is white to move, mate in 2. The goal is also like to try not to stalemate. So right now, if you didn't move, then it would be stalemate, right? Because so the knight's protecting these 2, the rook's protecting here, here, and here, and then the king's protecting here and here, the bishop's protecting here. So the king has nowhere to go. So first, you have to make a move that will let black go somewhere. So before I reveal the answer, you can come up with you can pause the video and think. You can pause the video now to try to figure it out yourself. Okay, and then the hint you get is that you move the bishop. So that's the hint. So pause now before I reveal the answer. Okay, so the answer is bishop to h1. And what this does is it means that the knight is no longer protected. And so since the knight is no longer protected, black's going to take the knight because that's their only move. And now it's mate in 1. And mate in 2 is going to be really tricky, but everyone should be able to find this mate in 1. And I'll also give you a hint, it's not with the rook. There's your hint. So pause now to figure it out by yourself. Okay, so the answer is, well, you're obviously going to use the queen. But where are you going to move the queen? So there are all these nice checks on this diagonal here. But you're not going to go there. You're going to go queen g2. And that's mate. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. Like and subscribe. And yeah, click here to subscribe. Click here to watch more videos. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye.